In the Elden Ring community, there seems to be two types of builds. A frail caster spamming giant spells with the power of gods, and the unga-bunga tanks with weapons the size of their character. But what if there was a secret third option? There's actually a stat in Elden Ring called Dexterity, and it's like strength, but for weapons that don't look like something a cartoon caveman would use. So, why would you use Dexterity instead of strength? I don't have a good answer, it's just next on the list. Oh, and all dex of course means no vigor, so get ready for a lot of death. To watch these runs live, follow me on Twitch. We find new ways to play Elden Ring all the time. Double check your fingers dexterity by hitting that subscribe button. Apparently more than half of you are struggling to do a backflip onto your mouse to subscribe. Good news, you don't have to, just tap the button with your finger or mouse. Now, let's get dexy, and if I'm dexy, I'm also gonna be gexy.
Put my spend to spend, have sex, excess, put my ends against.
We kick it off by making our character look like Gex. If you know who Gex is, stand up, roll your shoulders back, really take a deep breath and get that tension out of your back. Cowabunga into Limgrave, get a crafting kit and a horse and a wet blade. Save Alexander, he's gonna be really important later, then go to the Third Church of Marika where we warp to the Dragon Barrow and...
Oh, do we look like Pepe?
Ooh, this doesn't really look like Gex, does it? In modern context, it kind of looks like the frog that all the racists like. Pivot time. Yeah, it's Dex in the City now. That's the joke. We're Sarah Jessica Parker, and this run is our first canon trans run. The last Gex game was released in 1999, same year Sex and the City premiered. Coincidence? Or is Sex and the City the secret sequel to the Gex games? Anyway, we get the spiked cestus and the Limgrave pickle, then go to work on the bad dragon's toes. This bad dragon will give us more dexterity, which I think means a lot of stretching. Google bad dragon, stretching you out on your work computer to find out more. Speaking of searching for things, let's talk about today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN. Surfshark is a virtual private network that protects your data from identity thieves, hackers, and even the search engine you might be using to look up perfectly normal things about ill-behaved dragons. With Surfshark Search, you get organic results that aren't tainted by advertisements or by the things you were searching for before you started using Surfshark VPN. I've been using Surfshark for years now, and I love to travel. Now, obviously, Surfshark keeps me safe on public Wi-Fi, like at airports or coffee shops or hotels that I stay in, but it can also help you get better deals on hotels. Did you know that hotels and flights charge different rates depending on your IP address? Yeah, it's messed up, but they do. So use Surfshark VPN to disguise your location and find the best prices. That's the same feature that lets you use their servers in other countries to check out the streaming services and the different libraries they have. It's always worth mentioning. So check out the link in the description for 83% off and 3 free months when you enter offer code HEIGHT at checkout. Imagine protecting the internet with offer code HEIGHT. There's no risk to trying Surfshark. They give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. So give it a shot, click the link in the description, offer code HEIGHT, and improve your browsing experience today. Now, back to this run. With our browsing safer and that dragon slain, we invest all those runes into the only stat we can, Dexterity. Then grab the Dex Us Medallion half from Fort Faroth and get chomped by the Faroth rats for the first of many deaths. Oh god, so many deaths. Our weapon of choice for the first section of the game will be the Twinblade in the Dragon Burnt Ruins. It kinda scales with strength too, so let's also get the strength tier before heading to level up our Twinblade. The strength tier is way more important later. Lernia has what we need. First, a few stones from the merchant, then warp to the bridge, jump off the bridge, grab the key to go back to the bridge, and warp to another bridge. The movement through Lernia is so interesting. If only Lernia itself was more interesting. The Raya Lucaria Crystal Tunnel has a lot more stones we need, but the slashy Twinblade is pretty bad against those miners. Yeah, they killed me after I activated the shortcut. Then again, on the shortcut, since I can't, fight them, figured out I should just be using the cestus that I used on the dragon. Fisting a dragon is great, but it's also great to fist, underground workers. And Crystallians, yeah, the cestus make that so fast. Easy smithing stone, bell bearing 1. The rest of our improvements are in Altus, so you've heard of Dex in the City, but can you imagine Dex in the Fort Height? There we beat the Fort Knight for the Dex Us Medallion 2 and ride up to Altus. Sealed Tunnel has the bell bearing we need, but that's not all we're getting here. Weird thing about Elden Ring, Lightning Ashes of War scale with dexterity, not faith, like previous Souls game. And there is an amazing Lightning Ash of War here. Not the goat one, one, the lightning one, outside of the outskirts of the royal capital. I died trying to grab it, but was able to go back to get the runes. We all remember that Sex and the City episode where Carrie Bradshaw becomes a Jedi Guardian with a yellow double-bladed saber staff. You can't prove me wrong unless you've watched every episode of the show. We're keeping it light for now, so let's head into the High Road Cave and show off some new tech. Dying. Okay, actual new tech, there's a broken column on the other side of this island you can run across to get to the second waterfall faster. Pretty cool. The Guardian Golem is a little more stressful since apparently the Twinblade doesn't have a lot of stance pressure, but we're able to get it done. Even the fists can bring him down with 2 charged attacks. What's the deal here? Just a bit more setup, we need more lightning damage from an Erdtree avatar in Lernia. On the way though, Sauron just keeps melting my brain and the character's brain with frenzy. Found a grace though, that's neat. The Erdtree avatar slams us once, but the second try we just don't get hit. Easy strategy, just hit the boss and don't get hit. This game's so simple. Margit next, so we can have an extra pocket and open up the safe path of Stormveil. Our lightning sword is doing great damage here. And yeah, we took an hour to level everything up. Maybe next week we won't do so much prep. Tibia Mariner on the way to patches, don't really know why I did it, but I did it. Nerd Juice is on the water, so our lightning hits a little harder. I don't want to kill patches, just one combo should...
Oh no, he died!
That wasn't a joke. I really wanted him alive. While we can still buy the pickles and the pickle recipe from the twin maidens after giving them his bell bearing, we can only buy 20 fan daggers. If you just move him into Lernia by sparing him once, you can buy unlimited fan daggers, which have S scaling with dexterity and can do massive damage with boosts from the Blue Dancer Charm and Ritual Sword Talisman. They don't count as weight, so I was gonna take off the Twinblade and get like a 20% boost stacking with the 10% from Ritual Sword Talisman.
That really sucks. That was gonna be like a big part of it.
Oh well, let's kill Gilka anyway. I still want the Ritual Sword Talisman for later. 10% more damage at full health if this is your first video. Also, welcome if this is your first video. Hope you're having fun or whatever. Time to die a lot. Stormveil time. I get Gostok to open the door, but still go up the safe path. On the safe path, you'll find a Wind Knight, a goddamn bird, platforming, an Iron Whetblade, hey, that's actually good, and then a death on the danger path back to Godric. I see why Godric put everyone out here, because Godric sucks. We buff up that lightning and head in with a rolling R1. He wants to use an Earthquake, which would be super effective against our electric type, but I hop the first hit, then roll through the second one for a nice punish. We back up and avoid the tornado and bait that silly goose flip, punishing that. He's in phase 2. That's a free charged up R2, baby. Stance break, critical hit, dead. That's hitless Godric, first try. Not really my skill. Godric's just a dork. I'm glad Melania kicked his ass. We're following in her footsteps. Second shard bearer is not as smooth. It's Radahn, and his attacks are a little harder to avoid. His swords one-shot us twice. So do his gravity arrows, but they're easy to avoid. Just dash perpendicular to him on the horse. Dash perpendicular to him on the horse. Dash perpendicular to him on the horse. Okay, I know you can dismount the horse to dodge. That's a tip people love to give for some reason. I don't really know why though. Does it even give more iframes than just rolling? I've never been able to make it work like, I don't know, just rolling. Seems weird. A roll and a dash on the horseback would also put you closer to the boss, which is where I'm going. Once we get in, we have some good ass damage. Really carve him up as long as he doesn't just, destroy us with a single arrow. I do want to grind a bit for more dexterity, and we're able to clear out the putrid avatar in Grail. It's a totally hitless boss fight, but it does have to be. We can't take a single hit from this guy. I farm some birds real quick, then go for the big bird, Grail. It is not hitless, which is a problem because that kills us. I guess I'll just pass on that for now. Let's enter Radahn's hole, not for the mimic tier, since we don't have enough HP for that. Instead, we get our regular, no vigor favorite, Greatshield Soldier Ashes, aka the boys. Currently, they're a little wimpy, so let's help them hit the gym by going up to Altus. I don't know why I fought this Tibia Mariner other than a few extra runes, and because it's on the water. We did die the first time, but second time we used the propeller technique. The charged R2 on horseback lets you pretend you're a motorboat. Brrr. Windhand Catacombs goes poorly. First, we die to the Lindell Knight, then to some gargoyles. But third try, I'm able to get the Lightning Scorpion Charm, kill the knight, pull the lever, and make it out. Not all the way out, we got killed by more gargoyles, but those aren't the last rock monsters that kill us here. We're mostly here for the Erdtree Burial Watchdog, and it has a full 360 spin attack. Didn't know that. Whoops. Another death, just to make sure it sticks. Third third try, we play a little more careful and it works out. Maybe I just need to learn not to be greedy. No time to learn that. Somehow Godefroy goes worse than Godric, even though they're the same boss. I guess going worse is taking any hit, so it's not that much worse, but we do die. And we die again, talking to Alexander on Mount Gelmir. We need to do his quest later, and he locks us into dialogue so we can't avoid the magma worm or roll. Technically, the deadliest move he has this run is just talking to us. Certainly more deadly than anything he does in Farum Azula. We're on our way to Gelmir Hero's Grave, and these deaths here are just my bad for not being cool enough. If you're cool enough, you can perfect cycle the chariot, but I'm not, so everyone laugh. Then a quick page death too. Love that they have super armor for some reason. Oh, but it's not over. We also die getting Flame Grant Me Strength. It might require 15 faith, but with enough dexterity, you can easily get 2 fingers in a hole and get ready to fight the Draconic Tree Sentinel. Since he resists lightning by 40%, my plan was to use the fan daggers. We died, didn't even get a hit off, but that's kind of better since we only have 20 fans. Next attempt, we show off the damage of the Blue Dancer, Ritual Sword, High Dex, Flame Grant Me Strength powered fans. We only need the fans to beat the Tree Sentinel. Google Draconic Tree Sentinel only fans on your work computer to find out more. But maybe use today's sponsor Surfshark before you do. With him out of the way, we're able to change everything about this build. For the better? Maybe. Only one way to find out. Dex in the city goes great. First we get killed by a Bubblehorn before even making the first jump. Am I not meant to be happy? The Erdtree avatar goes fine. I've got its moveset down. I could do it in my sleep. When the Mikola DLC adds an Erdtree avatar that poops sleep instead of rot, I'll probably change my tune. There's actually a grace here I never get because I have nothing to do in this area. Today, we do. It's a skip with a hop and a jump. So it should be fast. It's Gransax time. Never done this before, but you go up the stairs, swag jump onto the gazebo, then over the gap. Take 2 over the gap and across the big Bolt of Gransax for the smaller Bolt of Gransax. It might not be the biggest spear, but it's shockingly satisfying, especially once we level it up. First, we go to the sewer. It stinks. First, we get a Somberstone 6, then we have to outmaneuver the Omen. With this much dexterity, it's a piece of cake. In the sewer, best place to eat cake. The Somberstone 7 is on the basement floor being guarded by 2 lobsters, just waiting for me to drop down. Not great. Second try, I just fell, and third try, we got it. Then we died. Disheartening. I needed a day off after that. Come back and head into the Altus Tunnel where I can show off how grand this sax can be. Of course, we have to slurp some strength boosting physic to use it, setting a 3-minute timer on all of our fights, but
Sniping's a good job, mate.
guess we learned from the lobsters. That's the Somberstone 5 we needed, and we book it out. We've got a +9 Bolt of Gransax, and the damage is looking sick. Lindell Knights are strong against lightning, but hey, are they? Duelist blocking the Ritual Talisman? Not a problem. Sniping your way through the world might be the biggest boon of this bolt, although the damage might also be. Here's the Godfrey Shade fight. He takes 1 hit from lightning. Oh, that's pretty nice. 2 hits, and hey, 3 gets it done. That was fast. Lightning fast. The Black Knife Assassin on the way to Morgott, 1 and 2. Not anything worth sweating. Morgott next, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The poo-poo water in phase 2 just makes our lightning stronger, which is actually how lightning conducts electricity in real life. The less pure the water is, the more conductive it is. If you've got pure H2O, that's not very conductive. Since the run to the Forbidden Lands takes a while because I didn't know there was a sniper knight on the bridge and then I die waiting for the elevator to come back, let's talk about why I didn't use the Bolt of Gransax for the lightning only run. People seem to think that was a misplay. So this requires 40 dexterity and 20 strength to use, or 14 strength if you two-handed. You can't respec until you beat Renala. Renala was a problem to beat until we got Ancient Dragon Lightning Strike. Since this is locked in the Royal Capital, the only thing we could use with pure lightning damage to get to it is Faith. So we still needed an extra 27 levels to hit those requirements if we started with Samurai or Vagabond, not counting any vigor or faith to, you know, get there. And also, by the time we got there, the lightning spells were fine. They did fine after we got the Gravelstone Seal. They did way more than fine after we got the Ancient Dragon Lightning Strike, which would scale with our faith. And if we used the Gransax, we would have had to hot swap to make sure the Mimic didn't use it. 2 people using Ancient Dragon Lightning Strike is better than this. I guess we'll talk about that in the faith only run in a few months. 4 Biden lands done. Let's do the mountaintops. Should be pretty easy. I don't even have to try. Total Carrie Bradshaw move here. I kill Shabriri for the drip, but we've worn that hat too many times. I just really like the Ronin set, okay? Ignore Realis, we go right for the Fire Giant. Our Lightning Spear works great on the toes. Only issue, Fire Giant rolls around too much for the boys to keep up with him, so we don't have our distraction. We have to use the spear as an actual spear. How humiliating. Turns out it doesn't matter if we have the Ronin set and the Ritual Shield Talisman, we still can't take a single hit from this bad boy. So might as well get naked and boost ourselves with the Blue Dancer Charm. Overall, we take 4 deaths before we get this sick ass transition from phase 2. Oh, you're trying to use your big fire columns? No, I break your stance with a goddamn lightning bolt, which is rare. I don't think the bolt actually has that much stance pressure. It never really broke stance later in the game. With that, we can get enough damage off to close out our fight with the Fire Giant. Today, lightning is better than fire. A few weeks ago, not so much.
You're the worst.
Farama Azula starts off great,
Great American Album.
but it gets better. The Godskin duo are generous enough to let us summon Bernie for another distraction. If we have distractions, we can land so many sniper shots, and they really devastate this duo. The boys go down and we run out of magic, but as long as the duo doesn't summon, Bernie should be able to finish them off. Sometimes the best strategy is friendship, and we can max out our friendship with Alexander after the swag jump. I don't want to kill him, and it shows. Somehow we miss him. He's a big boy. He's been eating his vegetables and demigods. Still not an issue. We get enough sacks to connect with our friends that he gives us his innards, and more importantly, the Alexander Jar Shard, the penultimate piece of our damage puzzle. Ritual Shield won't be helping us live. We're gonna die, or the enemies are. Killing the birds on the bird run means we just have to dodge lightning. For some reason, dodging lightning is easier than dodging birds. The Ancient Somber Stone here gives us the last thing we need for maximum voltage, plus 10 Bolt of Gransax. Now it's time to clean up. Okay, the Draconic Force Sentinel does not let us wind up to toss and heavily resists our lightning damage. It pretty much sucks. So I decided we're just gonna skip it. I'll quit out before Malekith, summon the boys, and here we go! The damage is awesome, but we can't take a single stray hit. Maybe I don't need to quit out and I can just run in? No, the Force Sentinel will fireball us. It's a really tricky balance in this fight. We have to trust the boys to take the aggro, but phase 1 Mally has a ton of overheads and shockwaves that get around their shields. They are toast in phase 2, which means we have to be aggressive enough to get the kill before they're gone. After 6 deaths, we finally get a run. The boys come in and we run away, catching a little stray from the rocks, not enough to kill us. 1 bolt, 2 bolts, 3 bolts, and now we're in phase 2. First swipe kills 40% of the boys, and the others aren't looking great. The first bolt hits, but the second one whiffs as he's flipping through the air to finish off our boys. We need to play it safe and use the spear as a spear. Gross. That's what does it. Our lightning is good, but Gideon casts really fast. It could be bad.
Go, boys.
It was good. Godfrey goes a little worse. Honestly, don't know how something could go better. He smashes us up with an earthquake. It is super effective against us as an electric type. Second death, we take an aggressive stomping. Here's run 3. Start with a bolt. He dashes in to stomp on nothing. The boys taunt and we get a second shot off. Clear the earthquake for shot number 3, and the boys tickle him into phase 2. They're throwing their frost bots, just doing their best, and the shields are up for earthquakes. As I toss some lightning, he jumps on me. But we get out at the last second. The AoE shockwave phase begins, we get another toss in but get blasted by the wind. It doesn't kill, so we can throw one last bolt while he focuses on the remaining boys. A crown is warranted by strength, but I'm only using dexterity. Don't worry, I got 5 kings right here. Speaking of 5, Godric's Great Rune raises all of our stats by 5, so nothing's gonna stop us now.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down.
Yeah, you know it's bad when Daddy Ratty gets a whole section to himself. At this point, we're at 49 deaths, worth noting. First, we should talk about the Hammer Slammer. It's his big phase 1.5 transition where he makes a giant ray of light on the ground. Normally, you can just get up close to him and kind of ring around his Rosie. But with our Sniper Spear, we are nowhere close to his Rosie by the time he goes for it, and thus cannot ring around it. Could we fight him up close? Sure, if you don't mind that his teleports and parries come out instantly and would kill us. So our only option is to stay back and let the boys take most of the aggro, and hope to God he targets them with a Hammer Slammer instead of us. Most of the time, he doesn't, because the Hammer Slammer comes out of one of his insta-teleports at a damage threshold that we usually put him in, because unfortunately, our damage is very good. Plenty of the other moves can kill us too, like the double bolts. When he throws a big bolt, he has the option to immediately throw a second, which you have to roll for. But if you double roll, and he only does one bolt, he can catch the dead frame of your second roll with his hammer. All of this is normally okay. You can just take a hit and chug a flask. But if you can't take a hit, it's a problem. We died 6 times before finally making it to the Elden Beast. Our boys are dead, but that's fine. It leads off with the big fire breath attack, and they were never gonna live that anyway. It's why we never went to make them plus 10. Maybe some of them would make it to the Elden Beast, but they wouldn't last long enough for it to matter. It would only be worth it if they lived long enough to catch the Elden Stars aggro, but that is way too much of a lottery. Speaking of, surviving Elden Stars is a lottery. If you say you can dodge it, you're a liar. No hit runners literally break the rules of their runs just to stun lock the Elden Beast out of using it. And that's an accepted part of that community. You want to say you're better than me? Go ahead, that's fine. But if you say you're better at the game than the no-hit community,
you're fake. You're a fucking sheep.
Okay, back to Daddy Ratty, and we take 4 more deaths until getting back to the Elden Beast to get hit by the Nebula Slam. That one's pretty embarrassing, that's just on me. These two, though, make me pretty mad. I am on Radagon. I am by his toes for the Hammer Slammer, and did I not go under him? Is that not what you are supposed to do? Also, hey, maybe just don't have hits in your game with more active hit frames than your dodge mechanic. Like, why would you do that? Back to the Elden Beast again, we're going for some charged attacks, trying for a stance break. After some melee attacks and the insta-kill explosion, we get our wish. Punish that with some bolts and a crit, love that, less than 50% HP, and it hasn't gone for the rings yet. Obviously this run is blessed, so after the rings, I pop a rune arc. Maybe that will give us just enough HP to survive the Elden Stars. I sprint away, and the Elden Stars decides to be slow enough. The breath doesn't go far enough. Elden Stars ends. Just some easy to dodge nebula attacks now, so I can punish. Okay, Corey, zoom in and frame this sucker. The first nebula goes out. Second nebula goes out. Third nebula is the swipe in front. We have a solid 3 character lengths away from that front nebula, but then it just expands? It doesn't expand. Does it expand? Apparently it expands. Back to Radagon. Ouch. 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 And Elden Beast time. We hit it with a bolt as it flies up to do rings. That's some nice free damage. We get close, but
Say the line, Bart.
Elden Stars. That's total death 69, if anyone was wondering where the funny number was. We kind of just trade off dying to Radagon and the Elden Beast for a bunch of deaths. Interesting stuff doesn't really happen. I will say, Ratty's turning speed during the Hammer Slammer is ridiculous. Look at this, first hit, he's focused on the boys. I ready the bolt, I don't even throw it, and he has turned to kill me. How are we supposed to react to that? I guess it's just don't react to it, just don't try. Some attacks in this game you're not meant to punish, and that kind of sucks when you're doing a no vigor run. If you can heal, honestly, I think it's fine. I'm just playing the game wrong. After a few more deaths to some questionable hitboxes, I decided to go get another buff. Golden Vow. We can't cast the spell version that requires 25 faith, and we'd need the faith tier, which would either take away our lightning tier or our strength tier, which would force us to use a rune arc. The Ash of War version is still good. It's just 45 seconds, 11.5% damage boost, and a 7.5% defense boost. Spell version is 80 seconds, 15% damage boost, and 10% defense boost, if you're curious. That extra damage does stack multiplicatively with the other boosts though, so it ends up being like a 23% damage boost, and it shows. Radagon gets way more consistent, so we can get to the Elden Stars faster and die. Okay, that sucks. New idea, be far away from the Hammer Slammer. It doesn't work. If he's alive at the end of the Hammer Slammer, he will teleport across the entire arena with a hitbox that kills you. It might seem like some of the deaths to the Elden Beast are greedy here, but I need to be greedy if I'm trying to break it out of the Elden Stars. Even on the other side of the arena, the piss balloon hones in on you like a fucking bloodhound. Oh, you could just outrun Elden Stars. Really? Do you have a horse in the fight or something? I'm not saying are you invested in that argument. I am asking, do you literally have your horse in this fight? Okay, I just realized with the 10 strength boost from our physic tier, we can actually wield the Commander Standard and get that buff, which is a 20% attack and damage boost that lasts 30 seconds. All of the other buffs make that around 39%. Mamma mia. But first, we get sniped by the Clean Rot Knight on the way there. Annoying. Then Millicent invades us, but everyone told me this Bolt of Gransax was great at hitting NPCs since they don't have time to dodge it. And And one more death from O'Neill's ads that I thought I could ignore. You can't. We can't really take chip damage. Honestly, that's my bad. I should know that by now. Okay, now the damage is heckin' chunking off Radagon's HP. But that doesn't matter if, I don't know, you get stuck against an invisible wall and trapped into the Elden Beast's AoEs. To clarify, not every death here is janky. I'm just showing off the ones that are janky. When you die to a boss over 50 times, sometimes it's gonna be janky. There was one attempt I broke the Elden Beast stance after it got Elden Stars out and hoped the iframes would be enough to live out the Elden Stars duration. That's forgetting that after the crit, the boss gets iframes and you don't. You just stand there and die. Okay, here's a good one. It's been a minute since we had a good one. Against Ratty, I let the boys go in and take the aggro so we can get off a spear, or 3. Wait, a 4th? A 5th? The hammer falls, and some boys live. So phase 1 went great. Hallelujah. We give our boys the buff, maybe that will help them live through some Elden Beast shenanigans. We go for our standard opening at this point. It's a jump attack with some quick R1s before it starts the breath. Then we go for charged attacks while, yeah, our boys get destroyed. It's doing the Elden Ring, is that for us? No, it's for the boys, and it finishes off our last soldier with a single melee attack. Not a combo, weird. I thought it had to do a combo. I whiff a bolt as it slides away, then a melee attack, and another bolt before the Elden Rings. Not great. To keep a promise I made to chat, I ate a rune arc during some of the rings, and it really helped us survive the Elden Stars. We're able to chug jug enough to live. Some blade beams come out, but we can roll through them without Elden Stars melting us in the back. We outlasted it. A Nebula Slam I'm not getting hit with, no silly goose moves this time. The strength tier must have run out, so the rune arc is the only reason we're still able to use the Bolt of Gransax. Some melee attacks after the triple onion ring combo, then a big explosion we can bolt during. It might look like our damage is worse here, and it is. The lightning physic wore off with the strength one, and we haven't refreshed rallying standard. We actually can't with only 15 strength from the rune arc. We needed the plus 10 from the physic. A little Elden Rain, that's dodgeable. So are the blade beams, so we can charge some attacks. Just remember the first rule of Elden Ring, don't get grabbed, and we finish it off. It only took 6 hours and 15 minutes. That's a pretty decent time. As long as you ignore the 105 deaths to only 21 bosses. To be fair, more than 50 of them were only to one boss. Welcome to F tier. Always fun when we get one of those. This could have gone better with more fan daggers, honestly, but the fact of the matter is, Radagon does not let you play ranged, or at least not ranged without health, or play melee without health if you're not breaking his stance. Strength got to immobilize him enough so that it went a little better. The Bolt of Gransax doesn't have the stance pressure of the Giant Crusher. Still, a cool weapon. Try it at home with some vigor. To watch these runs live, follow me on Twitch. We're finding new ways to play Elden Ring all the time. Join my Patreon if you want to give me money. It's the best place to do it if you want me to keep the money, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next video.